there is no older reference. So we can consider that John Nash is a pioneer of secure cryptography, which is based on a hard computational problem. Okay, in this slide will be NSA. Okay.
Sorry, so the computation power to break it or
to break it? Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Okay. And he also predicts that if this is achieved, the NSA will be out of job. Like he says, the game of cipher breaking by skilled teams should become a thing of the past. Okay, interestingly. And actually, we don't know too many crypto systems which achieve this exponential security, but we certainly do know some. Okay, in particular, elliptic curve crypto systems achieve exponential security. Okay, so for many of such crypto systems, there isn't an attack which is faster than exponential. It's not true for RSA. RSA would be a deficient crypto system for John Nash, and he would reject it. He would say, no, it's not a secure crypto system, because the security grows sub-exponential with the key. Okay, so it's not good. Okay. Elliptic curve is exponential. So in terms of scalability, it's much, much better. Like, if you want to upgrade your key for the next 10, 20, 50 years, you just have to increase the size of the data just a little bit. It's good enough. With RSA, you have to really inflate the data a lot nowadays. Okay? So like if you want to make really RSA really secure and for the next 50 years, you would have to use RSA with like 20,000 bit keys and things like that, which also becomes very, very slow to implement and so on. Okay? So the exponential security means that crypto systems can scale very well for the future. So it's very interesting because how do you explain to a banker that the crypto system is secure? I know only one way to do it. This is crypto banks and challenges. Can you break this? And here's the price. Okay. So there are also scientific challenges, by the way. For example, if you prove that P is equal to NP or otherwise, you win $1 million. Okay, there's a price for this. Nobel Prize or Abel Prize in mathematics is more or less the same amount of money, $1 million. Okay. Interestingly, if you break the Bitcoin elliptic curve, you can steal other people's bitcoins. It's like about $3 billion. Okay.
And that's what you're working on.
yeah, absolutely. So that's amazing, because the Bitcoin community has created, for the benefit of mathematicians and scientists and geeks, the biggest scientific challenge and prize which has ever existed in the human history. Yes?
I don't think that's entirely true, because immediately the price crashes, and also when you want to cash out, you have not so much volume that you can cash this.
Yeah, maybe you will not be able to get as much, but it still is many orders of magnitude bigger than what we have known before. Okay, you could easily steal few millions of dollars and nobody would notice. Okay, actually $5 million were stolen recently from Bitstown, and nobody knows how it was stolen. Yes?
Can you just resolve this problem by building into the protocol that an address can only be used once? So that way, once you...
Yeah, I think it should be made mandatory in Bitcoin. Yes, it's a good idea.
But bit32 addresses, they do this.
Oh, they do this.
If I'm not mistaken. Yeah. Right.
Okay, I will be talking later about bit32 specifically. It's one of my favorite Bitcoin specs.
We have an intelligent audience here.
So crypto challenges, I always like this idea. My research in cryptography has always been controversial since ever. And one of the reasons why I'm controversial is I have in the past said things like that. That you need to punish those who by their ignorance, incompetence, or because of a hidden agenda, put everybody's security at a great risk. So I have said this in 2006, many, many years ago. And I was so naive. Okay, I mean, some people are never ever punished, and they're always right. And I'm always wrong. Nobody will ever listen to what I say. Okay? I was very, very naive. But still, if a banker wants to know what's a secure crypto system nowadays, Bets and Challenges is the only known way to have a secure crypto system. So actually there are very good challenges on elliptic curve cryptography. So if you can break elliptic curve cryptography, you can earn close to $1 million, which is offered by a Canadian company, Certicom. Okay? Strangely enough, they forgot to include the Bitcoin elliptic curve.
Yeah, why did they?
There's no price if you break it.
Why did they do that?
I don't know. Actually, these kind of challenges are kind of a bit older than Bitcoin. Okay, but that's the explanation. But the thing is that, you know, if you can break the Bitcoin elliptic curve, there is no like honest option. This is the honest option. Okay, okay, you just steal bitcoins, and it's not good. It's not good that there is no honest option in Bitcoin. Okay, like for a ethical code breaker. Okay. So the same company, Certicom, they run this very interesting industry consortium which is called SEC, so Standards for Efficient Cryptography, basically. All this. And there are many very important companies in this consortium, such as Visa International, Fujitsu, and so on. And here is something very interesting, because the chair of this committee is a cryptographer, Dan Brown. I kind of know him. And here's what he writes about the Bitcoin elliptic curve. I'm surprised to see anybody use this elliptic curve, ever. Okay? Bitcoin elliptic curve is something which no cryptographer would ever come close to at less than 100 meters. It's an example of dodgy cryptography promoted by incompetent people with a hidden agenda. Or at least it looks so. I mean, no cryptographer would ever recommend this elliptic curve. And no cryptographer ever uses this elliptic curve except in Bitcoin and its clones. It's very, very bizarre that Bitcoin cryptography and cryptocurrency cryptography is totally disjoint with the cryptography which everybody uses on planet Earth. It's totally, utterly disjoint. That's a very, very bizarre situation. So here are some examples. Which elliptic curve is used recommended by the NSA is the R1. Okay? Which elliptic curve is used in SSL connections, like when you use your browser? Well, at this moment, only 7% of all internet connections use elliptic curves. But inside this 7%, 98% of people use this elliptic curve, which is the same which like everybody uses, Microsoft, EMV bank cards, and so on, NATO. Okay? And nobody uses the Bitcoin elliptic curve. Okay? So Bitcoin elliptic curve is very, very peculiar. It's never ever used by anyone except in Bitcoin. Okay? How bizarre.
What about that, what's that, USNC, blah, blah, blah?
Yeah, it is standardized in some sort of spec for financial services in the US. Okay. Yes. It's a sort of spec you have to pay like a few €100 to. Yes. So it is standardized. But there is no evidence known to me that anybody would ever use it outside of cryptocurrency community. Yes. Okay.
Are you going to tell us why?
So, don't ask me. But if you ask the German Federal Information Security Agency, they recommend this one. The French their French counterpart exactly the same, and so on. Everybody, if you ask any cryptographer, they will recommend either this curve or, let's say, more modern curve, which, because obviously this curve is already under suspicion of being bugged by the NSA.
Why?
Okay, but this is still the one which everybody uses. Okay, yes.
ask the NSA if it's a good curve. I mean, it's like asking the devil how you can avoid it, or not.
Well, never mind, don't ask me yet, Sam.
Okay.
I'm just showing you the facts.
I have one question about the other curves. Has there ever been vulnerabilities exposed about it because it's older or because it's innocent?
There are definite vulnerabilities about this curve.
Yeah.
But there isn't a good attack on it. There are definitely attacks and vulnerabilities. It's extremely suspicious. On some criteria which are known in specialist circles, it's the worst elliptic curve which have ever been standardized in human history. On some criteria, but there's no proof that these criteria lead to powerful attacks. There are some academic attacks which are just slightly faster than what you get from other curves. So that's the current status. Okay.
But can it be that Satoshi intentionally implemented the other one because it's not recommended by the government?
I don't know. In terms of legal responsibility, if you use this curve, you're in trouble because nobody recommends it, and it's unprofessional. This is gross professional misconduct.
But why is that professional? There's no bug.
I mean, if this curve is backed by the NSA, you are fine because NATO uses it, Microsoft, everybody uses it. You are fine. You have no problem. Everybody is in trouble. You see?
But this is
Microsoft
wants to be outside of this other stuff.
Okay. But if somebody recommends this curve specifically, okay, you are in trouble because you are recommending something which goes against the advice of 100% of professional security community.
What is the argument against this?
There isn't a strong attack at this moment, so it's rather a suspicion.
It's just a political recommendation.
No, it's just that cryptographers operate in a certain way, and nobody recommends this curve because cryptographic history shows that this sort of special objects are typically almost always broken. Okay, it's a very, very peculiar elliptic curve.
Do you have any suggestion or idea as to why Satoshi might have used this curve?
No.
Well, who is Satoshi anyway? To begin with.
Okay.
That's why he is.
And because I like challenges, I have created Bet for you. So on betmoose.com, which is a Canadian company, you can vote and bet. Yes or no, Bitcoin cryptography will be broken in 2015, more precisely by September 2015. Okay? And bets can be placed both anonymously and non-anonymously if you want to build a reputation as for the future that I was right, I have chosen the right option.
But if a Bitcoin is cryptographically broken, isn't the bet in Bitcoin then pretty futile?
No, because a academic attack on the elliptic curve, which tells you that in 3 years you can recover the key or the cluster of GPUs, will not mean that your particular bitcoins that you place in this bet will be stolen. No.
You are the one who created this bet.
Yes, I'm the one who created this bet. Absolutely. Okay. So
Yes.
And honestly, I do not believe that Bitcoin cryptography will be broken by this date. So it's a game which is meant to raise the awareness of cryptography in Bitcoin, which is a taboo topic in Bitcoin community. Nobody ever wants to discuss these topics. Very, very bizarre.
We do.
So it's a game. Please go and bet.
Yes.
Okay? By the way, don't bet a ridiculous amount. Please bet a large amount. So we have more fun. Okay? So many systems fail because of incidents at operation. Antonopoulos was a famous Bitcoin evangelist. I'll be seeing him next week in Frankfurt. Have said that Bitcoin has achieved this network effect, which makes it very difficult for competitors to compete with it. And even if a computer is better than Bitcoin, like for example it has more secure cryptography, it will not win. Bitcoin has this sort of natural monopoly position at this moment. However, Antonopoulos also says, Bitcoin could collapse if we blow it up by accident. Okay, that's the thing, and I absolutely agree with you. Okay, one of the ways to block something by accident is to have incidents at operation, which is not the worst thing, by the way. Okay, so bad randoms we have already discussed today. This topic, I'm going to tell you a bit more about it. It's a very, very hot topic. Okay, so bad randoms have been with us ever since cryptography was invented. So for example, in the 30s, German army, cipher clerks, so they had this indicator system in which they had to choose random 3 letters to be the indicator of their message, to simplify. And instead of choosing them at random, well, they have chosen 3 identical letters. They were forbidden by the administration. Okay? Please do not choose 3 identical letters. When they forbidden with this, actually, the amazing thing that the German officer cipher clerks were very, very kind of serious. They always obeyed this when they were forbidden something. Okay? So then they used 3 consecutive letters on the keyboard, like Q, W, and E. Because this was not forbidden. Okay? So then they forbid this. Okay? So then they use a diagonal. Okay? And the funny thing is actually they have obeyed what was forbidden. Okay? But they did another thing, which was relatively easy to guess. And operators have always found ways to degrade the execute. Okay? But have obeyed the rules. Okay? So is this old stuff? It's not. This is still happening every day as we speak. Okay? Modern passwords. These mistakes, they don't die, they live forever. Okay? You can still find all these things as distinct patterns which has large probabilities in probability distributions of modern passwords. All these old patterns, they are still there and they are alive. Okay? So, you know, for example, like 8.5% of people use password or 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay? And 91% of people use one of top 1,000 passwords.
I use it also.
Okay? And so on.
Oh, that saves so much work when cracking something. You know, no more big rainbow tables. Just take those lists. You get it.
Okay.
90%.
It's good passwords. Less energy.
Yes, so think about this brain wallets in Bitcoin, which are all the private keys are derived from a password.
Yeah.
Okay? Where 91% of them will be stolen. And people have programmed scripts so that people who have used this brain wallets but have chosen a weak password, their bitcoins were stolen instantly because, you know, there was already a script running already on Bitcoin blockchain. They were immediately stealing them. Okay? Okay, so people didn't have to wait for long for their bitcoins to be stolen.
I think it was 7 seconds.
Okay? Brain wallets, not so good for average, normal people who are not able to generate a strong password. Okay? I will tell you a little bit about MyFair Classic. So MyFair Classic is one of the most popular smart cards ever made in human history. More than 2 billion were sold. Some, maybe 200 million, are still in circulation in London, Amsterdam, and many, many other places. Okay? In London, for example, they have upgraded already at the end of 2009 to another chip, which is Desfire. But they still accept the old card. So I still have MyFair Classic, which works in London every day, and you can still use it. Okay, so there is still a percentage of old cards which are still around. Okay, so MyFair Classic is a very famous system, which has been very badly broken. So what is the best attack on MyFair Classic? So actually, you should Google for Courtois dark side attack. Okay, this is the most practical general purpose attack on MyFair Classic. It has a implementation which is on the internet, which you can download. On my blog, you can also find step-by-step instructions how to run it under Unix for example. So there are also some links on my blog. So the software package is called MFC UK, and it basically implements this attack. Okay. There are actually many other extremely good attacks on Classic developed by Dutch researchers from Nijmegen, but they don't have like a public implementation. So my attack is excessively popular, like I don't know, maybe 80% of 98% of hackers use my attack because there is an open implementation, and also because it's really efficient. Okay. This is a very, very practical attack. For cryptologists, this is a simultaneous differential attack. It's an attack in which several differentials happen simultaneously on different encryptions, which is an extremely strong problem. Okay? There isn't any other cipher which has ever been cryptanalyzed in crypto research history, which was so weak that you could have so many differentials holding simultaneously. Okay, so it's a very special attack which only has been invented for this purpose because there isn't a cipher which is so weak in elsewhere. Okay,
So
it's very, very special. And also because of this very special nature of the channel that the attacker uses, because basically attacker uses a sort of information which is output by the car due to a certain bug which should not be there in the first place, and it's only like 4 bits of information which are output from time to time. It's a very, very special attack, which normally you don't see in cryptography because the circumstances are not like the circumstances here. It's very, very special, dedicated attack. Okay, it's an advanced attack. So data complexity of my attack is about 300 queries to the card, which is very, very low. And it's less than any other known attack on Classic except brute force, which brute force obviously data complexity is yet much lower. Okay. So in comparison, the third Nijmegen attack published at Oakland requires pre-computed 400 gigabytes of data, which they hold on a remote hard drive, which is very expensive actually to compute in the first place. So it's not an attack which amateurs can do. Okay? And 4,000 queries to the card, which is typically done in 2 minutes with computation. And actually it happens that the queries that they